Of Ecclesiastes chapter 3, and we'll begin at verse 1. And it reads, "To everything there's a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill, and a time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build up." Verse 4, "A time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance." Verse 5, "A time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing." Verse 6, "A time to get, and a time to loose, a time to keep, and a time to cast away." Verse 7, "A time to rend, and a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak." Verse 8, "A time to love, and a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace." I'm going to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to called Loyam, by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kadosh Bakatham. Double honors to my apostles, the elders, the men in the great millstone, teaching rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Aqua, the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad, and the land of other nations appearing like the other nations. I won't subscribe to this truth to you. I say shalom. So, Brother Yahweh, out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So, we in a time of, a time that's approaching like never before. We feel, prophecies are speaking, and wars in the air. You got war amongst those Edomites, Ukraine against Russia, as well as America. Then you got tensions between Moab, which is China, who biblical nationally is called Moab. Just a lot of things going on. So we in a time of war. That's why I started with that book of Ecclesiastes. But this ain't just the man on the highways and hedges' opinion. You got other men on the earth speaking and seeing these things for what they are. And it talks about how the scriptures talk about how the poor man's knowledge is despised. When a rich fellow speaketh, everyone listens. But so when a poor man speak, I forgot exactly how it's worded, so Salakia, but nonetheless, you got this guy Henry Kissinger, wealthy Edomite, right? And he's basically mimicking or saying the same words that the elders and the elder apostles and the elders have been saying for years, and that's what it's constantly stated, that if you can't see what is going on, the Lord is not dealing with you. That's why the elder probably always makes that statement. The Lord is not dealing with certain individuals that call themselves pastors and whatnot, because the things that a prophet or a man of the Lord will be speaking about will be these prophecies. You got people like Vocab Malone, which we understand Vocab Malone's role in all of this. Like the elders always say, it's somebody got to be the 2/3, somebody got to be the elect. Everybody got parts to play in the Most High's movie. But like Genio Jenkins and all these pork chop eating pastors, like the pastor that got robbed out of his congregation that's friends with the mayor of New York. Which I find it funny, because that's how you know this bitch is done. You got Esau Edom putting all these jakes in positions of power at the end when they done use this bitch up and it's about to be destroyed. Just like how you got all these, wannabe billionaires. A lot of people ain't aware that LeBron James is like the most recent billionaire. Billionaire or what though? Because eventually people gonna realize that this money only holds value because you believe it holds value. So, with all that being said, the headline reads U.S. on brink of war with Russia and China. So, that would be considered, what would that be considered? Let's look at this a scripture that go into that, though. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24. Because by the prophecies, you measure the time we're in by the prophecies. And the prophecy states, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24. And I'm going to start at verse 3. Now, this is after one of the sermons. I can't remember which sermon this is. This may be the Sermon on the Mount. I'm not for sure. But it says, as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, so in private they came and asked him these things. Because what people don't understand, you got this whole doctrine and this belief system that the Messiah came to save everybody. But if you actually understood the scriptures, like the Messiah used to say, he said, you err not knowing the scriptures. If you understood the scriptures, the Messiah didn't even actually break certain stuff down to the masses. He only broke it down to his disciples. When you go into the word disciple, it basically breaks down to a student. So we are students of our Lord and Savior, Yahushua Mashiach, our big brother. So if we're following his philosophy, his doctrine, you know, we supposed to be walking the way he walked. You know, I was just listening to a heck of a video on Romans chapter 8. You know, walking in the flesh is going to get some men killed. You know, you're supposed to be spiritually minded, not carnally minded. So, you know, the Lord, you know, walked in the spirit and showed us an example of you can walk in the spirit. You know, that's why it talks about how he basically was blameless. You know, so it says the disciples came unto him privately, saying, "Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?" And it reads, we're not thinking so we'll say world, because people believe that it's going to be just a complete destruction of the planet Earth. And it tells you in the scriptures that the earth abideth forever. So the world is not going to blow up or just stop, but the age is going to end, meaning, you know, one age pass away. You know, Esau Edom's rulership is going to pass away. God. And that's the point. It's aeon. And it says the point I want is period of time, an age. Because I think it's three different words for world. I think aeon, cosmos. I think cosmos is like a group of people. So when, matter of fact, when John went and said, I died not for, this is John 3:16, for Yahweh so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. When you go into that word world, it's cosmos. And it's talking about a harmonious group of, see, that's how you know they change in the blue letter though. The inhabitants of the earth, me and the human. No, it's supposed to be a harmonious arrangement of people, you know, a specific people. You have to go probably to the etymology though. But back in the Matthew chapter 24, that's why you could never trust the devil. You know, I watched the elders even brought that out when the elder was in the spirit to bring out the blue letter, and over the years they've watched how they start going off on the blue letter and changing things around the blue letter. This is the book of Matthew chapter 24 again, verse 4. And he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, shall deceive many, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So that's a rumor of war with Kissinger saying that China and America basically on the brink of war. Former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger has told the Wall Street Journal that Washington has rejected traditional diplomacy and in the absence of a great leader has driven the world to the precipice of war over Ukraine and Taiwan. Now, mind you, you already got a conflict and a situation going with Russia, but then America being so deceived and so prideful will literally try to. You got one major superpower, and you're gonna try and go up against another. Kissinger previously courted controversy for suggesting that Kiev abandon some of its territorial claims to end the conflict with Russia. We are at the edge of war with Russia and China on issues which we partly created, without any concept of how this is going to end or what it's supposed to lead to, Kissinger said in an interview published on Saturday. Kissinger, now 99 years old, elaborated on the West's role in the Ukraine conflict in a recent book profiling prominent post-World War II leaders. And, because of the fact that America is basically allied with Ukraine to a degree. That's why Russia is making some of the statements that they're making, because although America doesn't have boots on the ground, but at the end of the day, they do to a degree. Like, it's been information that's been brought out by that guy, Full Spectrum Survival. I don't know his name. I watch his channel because he does bring out information. I got hip to him through the Elder Malcolm, and you know, they have boots on the ground to a degree, but not. It's more so like a Cold War. You got Babylon, or the USA behind the scenes more so. Probably helping them with strategy and intelligence and whatnot. But they're not. We don't have soldiers on the ground like that over there. Now they got them ready. That's why they basically opened up the draft. Allowing you don't have to have a diploma anymore and all this yada yada yada. But the funny part about war is people don't go to war during when war is breaking out. They go to war during peacetime. Who want to really go? You ain't really got too many diehard Americans like that anymore. I mean, those generations of my daddy was a soldier, my granddad was a soldier, the long line is like, you ain't seeing that. People go to war out of basically being made to. Now you had those boxers. I forgot the boxer's name. The two brothers though. They basically went back and they was talking about going to fight. But you got to understand that Edomite is different from the typical Babylonian Edomite. So says he's described Russia's decision to send troops into the country in February as motivated by its own security, as having Ukraine join NATO will move the alliance weapons to within 300. The alliance's weapons to within 300 miles of Moscow, and that's the reason why Russia actually did it. Invaded Ukraine. Because NATO was created to combat Russia, and you had all these different collaborations of nations that basically, if one nation is attacked or put in position against Russia, all of them are in agreement to join together to fight. So Ukraine, which was part of Russia, literally wanted to join NATO, but if your enemy, if your territory is located next to mine and you want to join the ranks of my enemy, no, I'm not going to allow you to do that. That'll be a fool. You know what I mean? That's just like, what I mean? That's just like if you stand in the hood and the nigga you beefing with live right behind your backyard. You're not going to let that happen. Or anybody with no sense anyway. Diplomats in Kyiv and Washington should have balanced these concerns, he wrote, describing the current conflict in Ukraine as an outgrowth of a failed strategic dialogue. Speaking to the Wall Street Journal a month after the book publication, Kissinger stood by his insistence that the West should have taken Russian President Vladimir Putin's security demands seriously and made it clear that Ukraine would not be accepted into NATO alliance. And you got all these talking heads that always want to say this shit afterwards because they're not in agreement. The scriptures talk about in the book of Mark chapter 3, if a kingdom be divided, it cannot stand. He's no longer in the political limelight like that, and this is all based on the book. But nonetheless, what he's saying is true. On top of the fact, I don't see it being turned back like that. The Lord could do whatever he want, but again, we in a time of war. That's just like with China. China told America not to do what they did as far as Pelosi coming over there, and she went anyway. Now the bitch got the nerve to talk about she didn't remember the military telling her not to do it, or they didn't advise of it. People don't even understand how the seriousness of or the gravity of the situation, because China, usually countries have like what's that word? Like they have two different diplomats or liaisons that keep in touch with one another to discuss different things. Well, China has basically cut the cords on. They're not speaking to America, but they steadily training right now. They doing all these military drills. So, like I said again, we in a time of war. Uh, so let me get this scripture. It's the book of Isaiah. Oh yeah, God. This is the book of Joel. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, and the point is verse 9. The point is verse 10. I'm gonna start at verse 9. Joel chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare a war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And this is going into the other nations. It's basically because they're no longer weak because they have the same technology as America. You got multiple countries that got intercontinental ballistic missiles. And that's why you have, like, back in the day when America dropped those nuclear bombs on Japan. Japan was ready to fight. You know how spiritual it is? When Japan was ready to fight, the government mustered up the citizens. They had farming tools. A pruning hook is a farming tool. But like the scripture said in Ecclesiastes, is a time for war and a time for peace. Well, the war drums is beating because you got these nations that in that warlike spirit, and that's spiritual because it talks about how in the book of Ezekiel chapter 38 how the Most High is going to put the hooks in the mouth of Gog. It's going to turn God to that warlike spirit, and that's a prophecy that's being foretold right now. I might have butchered that a little bit, and I don't feel like getting it, but in the book of Ezekiel, and now you're going to make me get it. Salakia. You don't do it, you're working for the king of the universe. You know what I mean? Like, can't play, don't play around. Ezekiel chapter 38. This is Ezekiel 38:4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thy armies, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor. That's going into the weaponry. But this is going into Gog and the land of Magog. And when you go into Gog and Magog, that's considered Russia, because if you ever looked at the ancient map, you're going to see that they're pretty much in the same vicinity. So through the spirit, because prophecies, there's no new thing under the sun. So, like some scriptures are straightforward. Some scriptures are allegory. Some scriptures are poetic. Some scriptures, So again, this is talking about Russia and the Lord putting that warlike spirit on them, and you're seeing it again. Russia has a lot of technology. I was looking at, I did a video maybe a couple weeks back, or a month back, or a couple months back, where they was talking about they were going to mass produce this new ICBM, and the one that was the generation before it was the one that you call the the Satan 2 missile. So basically, they upgraded the Satan 2, and when you go into the Satan 2 missile, if you have ever seen the destruction and devastation that come with it, you could understand why it's called Satan. Back into Joel chapter 3, verse 10. Beat your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. So not only does Russia and America and India and those Israelis or those Amalekites ICBMs. Shit, Kim Jong Un. You know what I mean? Like you got China. You know. So again, when I was bringing out World War II, basically when they were ready to go to war against America, the Japanese basically they was arming the farmers. The farmers was ready to fight with plowshares and all that. I'll never forget that. You know, when you go into that conflict and America dropped that, atomic bomb was like the precursor to the ICBM because that's, when I guess they was actually able to first use nuclear technology as weaponized form, have our allies, but based on probably the fact of them dropping that because of the fear. So what the scriptures say, the weak shall say I'm strong. And that's why you got these countries basically telling America, fuck you. They can see the blood in the water. This place is not as strong. Like the elder was just going into, this place is over with. Look at how many plagues is going on. Polio resurfaced. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'll never forget that mayor sitting there talking about drinking tap water, but then they find, the disease in the water. So I don't know if they being funny or that was just spiritual or what. You know what I mean? It could be either way. You know what I mean? I don't put it past either way. I wouldn't be surprised, Salaki. I said don't put it past. I wouldn't be surprised either way. It's the book of you talking about because the Most High is a man of war. Scriptures tell you that. So that's why we in a time of war. That's why you're hearing rumors of war. This is the book of Exodus chapter 15, verse 3. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Now, let me see if it. I never went and looked up Slovakia. Where is it? The Lord is a man of war. The Lord, yeah, and that's the name of the Most High. So, of course, we know his name is not Yahweh, Jehovah, Jehovah. It wasn't the letter J. We know and believe through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah that the Most High God's name is Yahweh. So it says the Most High Yahweh is a man of war. So and we are in the season of war, and that's why you're seeing all these rumors of war. I got one last scripture. I'm gonna end it because this war that's gonna come, and it's mentioned in the book of Joel, chapter 3. Talking about the valley of Yehoshaphat. The war of Armageddon. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 9 and verse 5. Because, like I said, you've had all kind of wars, but this war is gonna be a different kind of war because it's gonna be more technology based. It's gonna be ICBMs. People gonna they gonna like how that movie. When you take the time to think about it, certain movies have always depicted this. But one that popped in my mind just now, in my mind's eye, was Terminator. Everybody's seen Terminator. Well, what was the premise of Terminator? Basically it was World War III. It was World War III. And they were shooting missiles or those arrows that's mentioned of in the scriptures. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 9 verse 5. For every battle of the warriors with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So this war that's going to end all wars, won't be up close and personal like the ancient wars where men would have axe and sword and knife and but this will be with with ICBMs, the modern day arrow, and it's going to be a lot more devastating and more destructive because a man could kill another man in single combat, but depending on how skilled he is, if they both two skilled warriors, the battle might go on for a while. But with these swords of the Most High, the scriptures talk about swords, they talk about arrows, talk about spears. With the sword of the Most High, the glittering sword, which is mentioned in the book of Isaiah, I want to say it's chapter 34, or the sword that we bathed in heaven, that ICBM, it's gonna devastate because one ICBM could take out a whole town. They talk about Russia got missiles that can blow up California, the state of California, blow up Texas, blow up Chicago. We ain't talking about blowing up, what I mean? And that's why this should actually, basically produce fear in you. Yeah. If you have any sense, it talks about in the scriptures, fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. But fools hate knowledge. A nigga sitting up there, oh yeah, the Most High ain't real. Well, scriptures talk about how, the Most High is not going to give his glory to another. So for those that don't believe, it talks about all eyes shall see and bow. you may you may not believe now, but you're gonna be made a believer in the end before it's over with. So if you are so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the law, statutes, commandments of your power, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to God, Elohim, by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem. Double honors to my apostles, the elders, a great millstone who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Aqua, to me, Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom here, Israelite forest scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom. Shalom.